I'm going to show you some things today about food labeling. So a lot of people have come to my talks. I've mentioned additives that I think are nasty and hidden in food, and a lot of people have started to ask, well, where and how are they hidden? So I'm going to show you a few things today which you might find hard to believe. Some of these products I have in front of me are okay, and some of them are not okay. And it would be interesting to see what people would think would be okay and what wouldn't be okay, and then find out after. But just for the sake of the video, we'll keep it simple and I'll just tell you. So this one is a chicken broth, and on the label it says organic. It says free-range chicken broth. It says low sodium, all natural. Now, how many people out there would think that this has hidden MSG in it? It does. So on the ingredients of this chicken broth right here, we have organic chicken broth. Sounds great. But then further down, we have yeast extract. Yeast extract always is MSG in disguise. So that's one thing you want to really look out for on labels is yeast extract, and this product has it, so if it were me, I would throw it in the trash. Here's another one, organic tomato and roasted red pepper soup. Right on the label, it says no preservatives, no artificial colors or flavors. Let me have a look. So, a lot of organic, blah, 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 blah. It looks really good because, hey, everything is organic. Wow, it's got to be good for you, right? But then at the very bottom, the very last ingredient, they have the word spices. Now, I never trust this word when I see it on labels unless it's quantified, and I'll show you an example of that in a minute. But they can legally put MSG under that word spices and not have to list it on the label. So if you see the word spices, it doesn't mean that it's all natural. It doesn't mean they went out and picked oregano and chopped up some garlic and put it in. It means that they're using some kind of trickery to hide other chemical additives. And even though it says no artificial colors or flavors, no preservatives, I don't trust that because legally they can write that there's no artificial flavors because they didn't add any, but legally it can still be in that category, the umbrella of the spices that they did add. So I would personally not buy this, and I would sooner toss it in the trash than eat it. This is an easy one. The ramen noodles in Australia and lots of parts of Asia, they call them Maggi Noodles, the Maggi brand. This has been rated to be one of the worst foods of all time, okay? This is something that I would say only eat as a last resort if there was nothing left on earth to eat. Ramen noodles are terrible, and it's not because of the noodles. So if you want to eat the noodles, hey, go for it. That's your choice. If you want to eat wheat and all the other things that are in the noodles, they're not as bad. It's the flavor packet in this bag that makes it the worst food of all time. And the flavor packet, the seasoning mix, it's got it all. So just looking at this label, we see monosodium glutamate. They don't even try to hide it. There's the MSG. They have the word spices, probably more stuff hidden in that. They have hydrolyzed soy, which can also be MSG in disguise. They have wheat protein, which can also be MSG. They have disodium guanylate and disodium inosinates. That's 635, 627, and 631. Those are the other nasties that I really hate. Those are the ones that cause the ribo rash, give people a very, very itchy rash. So this one's got the whole kit and caboodle, MSG and the ribonucleotides. This is definitely a last case scenario. I would never eat this unless I was forced to for some ungodly reason. And again, it's the seasoning mix in this that makes it terrible. Trash. Okay, So here's one that I was actually pretty impressed with when I saw. This is called Amy's Soups, okay? And the one that I liked better is the Amy's Organic Soup. Now, obviously, we like to see the organic products if we can. If you can get organic, go for it. I always say if you don't spend your money on your food, you're going to spend it on a doctor, so ultimately it's always your choice. But this one, the thing that I like about it, now this says organic, low fat. This is a vegetable barley soup. So then on the back we also see no trans fat, no added MSG, no preservatives, no GMOs, no bioengineered ingredients. Well, that would pretty much sell most people who are trying to buy healthy food. But what I liked is that in the ingredients, it also states that they are vegan ingredients, so there's no hidden animal products in there, which is a whole nother kit and caboodle to get into. But they list all the organic, blah, 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 blah. Then, when they put the word spices, they have a little asterisk next to it, and further down you go to the asterisk and it says 100% pure herbs and spices, no hidden ingredients. Wow, that's a way to win my heart, Amy. I love that in your soup product. And I would recommend, if people are looking for a soup that is healthy and additive free, I would encourage you to look for this Amy soup. And probably some of her other flavors have that as well. This is another Amy soup. Now this one didn't say that. So it has the no trans fat, no added MSG, no preservatives, says gluten-free, no GMO, no bioengineered ingredients. But this one has the word spices, and they don't quantify it. Now this is a Tom Kha Pak. This is a Thai coconut soup. Thai soups are notorious for having added chemical flavor enhancers in them. So are Chinese soups, so are Japanese soups, so are Indonesian soups and sauces. So because of that, even though it's got all the other bells and whistles, because it doesn't quantify that word spices, I would personally not buy this one. I would not eat this one. So that's just a little bit of added information for you on the Amy soup. So we have a one that's a yes and a one that's a maybe for you guys, but a no for me. So let's put the no out in the trash. A lot of vegetarians and vegans, they buy this fantastic food brand. It's known to have, like, you know, relatively affordable dried hummus and dried refried beans. This one is a taco filling quick vegetarian mix. So a lot of people look at the Fantastic brand as a healthy brand. You know, they've got a surfer on the back, and I don't know, it's cool, and it's got your Fantastic Assurance on the side, all natural or organic. In addition, this item is vegan, low fat, zero saturated fat, zero trans fat, good source of fiber, good source of iron. Well, that's going to sell most of the 20, 30, 40-something population out there who's looking for a vegetarian taco filling. Doesn't sell me. I don't like it. And you know why? Because on the ingredients, which, by the way, does tell you that they are vegan ingredients, the very first ingredient is soy protein concentrate. That's MSG in disguise, guys. Hate to tell you. Then we go further down, and we see the word spices. You know I don't like that word. That can have hidden MSG in it. Spices doesn't always mean that there's MSG or ribonucleotide, but many, many, many times it does. And I personally, if I see that word on a label, I never buy it. Because I have bought it in the past and reacted to it. Okay, then we go further down. Guess what we have? Yeast extract. That one, we know. I'd bet all my money in the world on that. That's MSG, guys. Yeast extract is always MSG. So this one, I would say, is not a good one to buy or eat. It's going in the trash. Alright, a few more things to go through. This one is a lemon and caper sauce. It's from Wegmans. It says gluten-free, it says lactose-free, A lot of people would buy something like this. A lot of people buy things at Wegmans anyway because they think everything at Wegmans or something like a Whole Foods has got to be good for you. If they would let me go in there and film, I would love to show you all the nasties that are hiding in these supermarkets, but every time I pull out my camera, they seem to kick me out. I wonder why. Okay, so anyway, this one, the reason why I don't like it is because the chicken base says natural flavorings, okay? Now, most people would read natural flavorings and they go, well, it's natural flavorings, right? Well, natural flavorings does not mean that someone went out and picked up some garlic and some ginger and smashed it up and made a nice little sauce for you, okay? Natural flavorings legally can have chemical additives hidden in that term, just like yeast extract, just like spices. So when you see that natural flavorings, you have to be suspicious of what else they added to it. For that reason, I would never buy this. I would never eat this. I don't trust it. Okay? Sorry, that one's got to go. So, the other one that I have here is a Classico tomato sauce, pasta sauce. This is tomato and basil. And this one, again, I just wanted to point out a different style of food because we've gone through a lot of spices and, soups and some sauces today. And a lot of people think, well, what can I eat? What about Italian food? It really does depend on the sauce, and I would always encourage people to make their own sauce if they're going to make, some type of Italian food. But keep in mind, if you're sensitive to MSG, that means that you are sensitive to all glutamates, and they are naturally occurring in tomatoes. They happen to be more potent when it's in a tomato base, like a tomato paste or something like that. So even if you make your own sauce with tomato paste and you're sensitive to glutamates, you still might have MSG reactions like headache, insomnia, things like that. So, but for the general person who's interested in just knowing for knowledge's sake, this one I don't like because the very last word on the list of ingredients is spice. Okay? Don't trust it. I don't like that word. I want to know if it's a spice, why can't you put what spice it is? You wrote garlic before, you wrote basil before, you wrote onions before. Why do you write that word spice? I want to know exactly what's in what I'm eating, and I know legally they can hide things in that word. I don't like it. I wouldn't buy this. Finally, a lot of people do question miso because a lot of vegetarians, vegans, even raw foodists are into miso. Most raw foodists will buy the raw unpasteurized miso. I have found even in the raw unpasteurized miso, I have reacted to it. So I personally don't buy that. This one, I just want to point out one that I would consider safe for people. So this one, the NutriCheck says vegan, no cholesterol, no trans fat, no added sugar, no saturated fat, no MSG, gluten-free. Now just because you see no MSG doesn't always mean there's no MSG. The ingredients in this one say free-dried miso, onions, and seaweed. No spices, no natural flavoring, no yeast extract, nothing else hidden in this. And I have had this one before, and I have not reacted to it. So this is the only brand of miso that I would recommend at this time because I'm not familiar with all the other ones, and I tend to get very suspicious of seaweeds in general, and I definitely get suspicious of misos just depending on where they come from because they're so salty that many times you can just taste it. As soon as you taste it, that something has been chemically altered to make it that savory and salty. So this one I would put in the acceptable pile. So from all of those, guys, I only found 2 products today that I would recommend to you. Now, I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just trying to give you a little bit of information because as a consumer, you can make wiser choices that are healthier for you and your family. And that is what it's all about, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a great one. See ya.